Hi, and welcome to my video on your interview paper for ECE 410. So I'm going to share my screen so I can go over the assignment with you and hopefully answer your questions and help you create an amazing assignment. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here we are on Brightspace for the interview paper. So just so you know, you are going to see at the top of your assignment this video after I'm done recording it, sharing instructions on how to do the assignment. So that will be the first thing you see. And then you're seeing information here on the interview paper. This is copied straight from the syllabus. But I'll just go over it with you quickly. This paper should be about 3 pages, double space typed, standard 1-inch margins with 12-point font. And the purpose is to refine your interview skills, develop relationships with families and or colleagues in the field, deepen your understanding of special education as a profession, instructional methodology, and system, because special education is all three. Identify the strengths and areas of improvement for the special education system and recognize the impact of special education. So what you're going to do is you're going to interview someone connected to special education and have them share their experience. We have questions. I'll show you those. And I'm going to tell you who you can interview and how. And so how should we begin this process? There are steps. The questions have been developed. So I did say here we were going to develop them together. They have been developed at this point. So you should identify a person to interview. It can be a teacher or a professional who works with children with disabilities. A teacher assistant, occupational therapist, speech therapist, physical therapist, someone who works with children who children with disabilities. Does not have to be a special instructor. It can be an early childhood teacher who has children with disabilities in their class. It can be a teacher assistant who has children with or has had children with disabilities in their class. Just a professional who works with children with disabilities. It can be a family member, a person who has a child who receives special education. It doesn't necessarily have to be young children. It can be any age children. And this can be a family member that you know. This could be your aunt. This could be your mother. This could be your cousin, right? It could be someone you know. And the third person that you could interview, you only interview one person, but you should interview one category. This is the category of people you can interview. You identify one person. It could be a person who's over the age of 18. They have finished school, but when they were in school, they received special education services. They had an IEP. So that might be your cousin or your sister or your brother or your significant other's sister or brother or your aunt or someone else connected related to you or your friend. You're going to contact the person, agree to schedule a time. And then the interview should last no more than 30 minutes. It can be done on Zoom. It can be done on FaceTime. It can be done on WhatsApp. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be. It's always wonderful to meet with people. Confirm the interview before you do it. Arrive on time. And then you're going to ask the questions. I'll show you the questions. They are down here. It says interview questions. So the interview questions are based on who the type of person you're interviewing. So if you're interviewing an adult, a person over 18 who received special education services when they were in school, they had an IEP, these are the questions you're asking. If you're interviewing a teacher assistant, an occupational therapist, physical therapist, teacher of the deaf, et cetera, someone who has worked with children who have disabilities, you're asking these questions. If you're interviewing a family member who has a child who has received special education services, you're asking these questions. Okay, so you ask, everyone has 12 questions. You're asking the 12 questions for the category of people that you're interviewing. And what do you say when you approach someone to ask if you can interview them? I have a protocol for that. I have something to help you. Once you think you've found someone, maybe you know your neighbor has a child with a disability and you want to ask them. If you don't know anyone and you can find someone, reach out to me. I will help you find someone. Um, After you have identified someone, contact them. Introduce yourself as a BMCC student studying early childhood and taking an introductory course on early childhood special ed. Explain that you have a project and you need to ask questions about the person's experience with the special ed system. The person can answer the questions they wish, they feel comfortable answering. And you're going to keep the person's information private and confidential, but you're working under tight deadlines. So if they tell you they're going away for the next 6 weeks, that might not be the person to interview unless you can interview them on Zoom or Skype or FaceTime or WhatsApp virtually. And then ask the person, do they agree to participate? Will the person be available when you need them? If you know you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but you have classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you have commitments on the weekends, Friday night's your only availability. Are they available Friday night? If they say yes, you're good to go. If they say no, you might have to find someone else. What's the best method to contact them? Because remember, you want to set a date and confirm. What's the best time? And when can you set up the interview? Set up the interview, confirm the day before. Okay, so then I'm going to go back. Then once you have asked the questions, remember the questions are here too, interview questions. Whoever the person is, you're asking one person, figure out what category they're in, okay? You ask these questions. We're not recording the interview. We're just asking the questions and taking notes on the answer. Then you're going to create it into a paper. You're going to turn it into a paper. So this is a sample interview paper. Okay. So this person's name is been changed. So, but this is a sample paper that someone used, someone created. So, and I did edit it and I changed the name. Um, so this will give you an idea of what some of the elements are. I took out some of the information because the questions changed. So this gives you an idea of what the format should be. It is not an exact paper, okay, but an idea of how to summarize what your paper should look like and what a sample paper should be. I removed some of the information because the questions that you have are different than the questions that this student asked at another time. Okay, I look forward to reviewing your papers. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Be well.